Hey everyone, my guest today is Elias Marty. Elias is a native New Yorker who seeks to understand the origin of America's tribalism and increasing hostility towards others with different opinions. Elias is a history buff who has expanded his interests into politics. He's also a reason who tries his best to provide the most nuanced and clear answers to complex events like two-party system dysfunctionality that are happening in America and, if possible, globally. Elias has other interests like technology that have shaped his understanding of the world and current events. Most importantly, Elias is willing to learn and expand his horizons. Welcome to the show, Elias. I was wondering if you could tell us about your podcast and kind of what made you want to start doing it.
Oh, hi. Well, I before I even do that, thank you, Sam. I don't even call it Sam, Samantha, and
Sam.
I love the Jade. Jade is a beautiful jewelry. They a
Yep.
little thing I didn't reveal in my own podcast. I don't talk about jewelry that much for obvious reasons. But for thank you for giving me the platform and for inviting me here. That let me just start that off before I even get started because I could go long winded and feel free to cut me off if you think it's going too much. But my podcast, Politically High Tech, and what inspired me to start this is I don't hear a lot of centrist, rational point of view. And I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I can present like it's a radical, especially my personality. I'm not afraid to
Hmm.
be bombastic or even counter both the left and the right because they both are equally problematic from an independent. And then you're gonna know why I switched parties both minimum, not both, yeah, twice because but I wanna zone in why I created this podcast and what it's about. So politically high tech, it covers multiple things, not just politics. That's the main thing, and sometimes I do a little history in there embedded with, and then of course experts with various political issues. And those it doesn't always have to be the most interesting, but I just think their issues there are important nonetheless. But there's always a way to tie it because so much news these days. It's 24/7 on speed 1,000, if you
Hmm.
will, because especially with
Yeah.
stuff going on. But I cover politics. I'm anti-partisan. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican. You're welcome to come in as long as you're open, genuine, don't mind being even challenged.
Hmm.
But I don't make it about personal challenges. I'll just challenge based on ideology and ideas. So you're not
Yeah.
going to hear something like, "Oh, you're so stupid," or "Your mother's fat," or whatever it is. It's personal insults, a little hyperbolic, but
Hmm.
people has thrown a lot of mudslinging at each other, especially even
Yeah.
political debates. I saw
Yeah.
snippets of it with the New Jersey governor's debate with Mikey Sherrill. If I'm going to be personally honest, I am leaning more with Mikey Sherrill
Okay.
than Jack Chittarelli because I'm not the biggest fan of MAGA and their policies. I think she's more rational, moderate voices that we need. So I'm leaning
Hmm.
towards her. If it was Ross Baraka, I would have sat out the election. I think he's a little more extreme for me, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But that's kind of things I like to cover, which I'm going to be talking more about it. Shameless plug in a future episode about these elections that I think are important because New Jersey is more competitive than one may think.
Hmm.
Republicans have more of a shot there, I think. And remember, people, Jack Ciattarelli only lost by 3 points, so a lot of polls say he's going to lose by 9 or 10.
Okay.
So he
Yeah.
overperformed. And this is a MAGA Republican in New
Hmm.
Jersey state that's normally pretty blue.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I cover. And sometimes I like to cover topics that are, yeah, that's more the political side. For the second part, the tech, and sometimes I mix business in there. They tend to go hand in
Yeah.
hand. I talk about, well, AI is not the main character anymore, but it is still part of the conversation. But I like to bring guests who are not afraid to challenge current business culture. I think that's the way I should frame it better, because especially I had one great guest that, he comes up with some weird hooks. Shout out to Alec Gregerman, recent episode
Okay.
I released. He talked about the wisdom of children, or wisdom of ignorance. Even as a
Mhm.
mama, I said, "Are you on something?" I said, "This. Oh, there's a method to his madness."
Yeah.
There is
Okay.
for sure. But the reason I'm plugging him out because he is challenging the current business culture. And we throw buzzwords like we want innovation, we want this, but companies are not executing it right. And
Yeah.
there's the worker burnout. There's those things. I think those are big issues, and sometimes it ties into politics. Let's be honest, and
Mhm.
even ties into spirituality if one is willing to be aware and alert. Just dig into that. So those are stuff I've been pushing more about AI, but more about business, or even new websites are popping up. I think they're different. They're challenging the way we do things. I already had two
Yeah.
guests that are already trying to build legacy and be more intentional with what they post online instead of just mindlessly dumping photos on
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook, what have
Yeah.
you. And it's true because I was starting to get digital dementia. Oh, do I remember this and all that? I was questioning myself on basic stuff. I was like, yeah, I think digital dementia is a real thing. It's more
Uh-huh.
curable. Let's be real. If you do a little digital detox, but I'm
Yeah.
focusing more stuff like that. AI is like the secondary character in this current season, which is the seventh season. Sixth season, AI was the main star. As everything has to be AI, the good, bad, AI in schools, AI in this, AI in crime, AI and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
AI on AI, things like
Yeah.
that. It's a bunch of crazy. Yeah, it was interesting. I had like both pros, the cons, and me. I'm more like the cautious optimist.
Mhm.
That's where I lean at exactly. So I talked about those things. The
Okay.
third one, which is the most interesting, is development. And before it used to be random because I didn't know what the heck to do with it, to be honest. But now I have a more purposeful direction. It's about something that could benefit humanity. It doesn't have to be spiritual, but spirituality tends to be the big character of all
Okay.
this. It tends to be the biggest one I focus because I think we are getting less in tune, and I think being connected to spirit is more important. And I know what it's like not to be connected with spirit. I personally been there. So I just think people need to, don't reject science outright. Make it work
Mhm.
hand in hand with each other. Make them interconnect. So just, oh, I gotta be team spiritual or team science.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I they could work well together. And I tend to say spirituality is ahead of the curve. The problem is science is playing. The thing is that science is slow. It tends to catch up to it eventually.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. Hot take to so many scientific atheists, but hey, that's what I believe in. I prefer to be honest and disliked rather than be
Mhm.
fake and liked, because that means the relation is not based on fundamental truths and trust and authenticity. So,
Yeah.
and then I even talk about stuff on finance and law. I mean, different things that I think that should help people. Some are a little
Yeah.
unorthodox, I think they need to be talked about regardless. And I personally tend to enjoy the spiritual alley part because I'm more like a kid being excited. So, ooh, what are we gonna dig into? This is me digging to the unknown. I'm digging in pretty ignorant sometimes. I have like basic understanding,
Yeah.
but there's things that I'm not aware of. I was like, ooh, really interesting. It's like I'm going, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the third segment is what I'm personally more excited about because it's just I don't know where this could be going. I think it's going to the left, it turns to the right. I was like,
Right.
oh my goodness! So it's really, really all exciting. And yeah, that's my podcast. I should put it in a more shorter pitch, but that's the moderate, detailed version of what the podcast is about. And it's anti-partisan. I don't care about partisanship. I
Uh-huh.
just want to have conversation. And the ultimate goal, I think it's similar to this one, is cool down the hyper-partisan,
Mhm.
tribalistic um, climate that we are in.
Yeah.
We may have different ways how to go about it. I think most of the time the debate is normally strategy, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just, oh yeah, we all could agree, yeah, hyperpartisanship is an issue. The better debate is how can we solve it and which one is more effective. Me,
Right.
I tend to have a more aggressive, sometimes smart aleck approach to it. Some may have more of a calm, therapeutic, soothing approach to it.
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with whatever. Nothing wrong with either approach. Just whatever comes out on top, that's what it is. And then if I end up being the losing end of it, then I'll just pivot and make changes.
Yeah.
But if I end up being the winning side of it, I'm gonna double down and tweak based on great feedback, specific feedback that addresses blind spots I wasn't aware of. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a little hypocritical, man. Yeah, I gotta. That's a good point. But if it's something
Yeah.
like saying, "Oh, you're stupid," then I'm gonna just ignore it. That's all. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
projecting your insecurities.
It's hard sometimes when you realize, "Oh, I think I was wrong about that. And that, so it sounds like you have a good mix of stuff on your podcast. It sounds fun, instead of talking about the same thing all the time and bringing the aspects of, especially like spirituality and science together it just sounds like a good mix of stuff. So, you were talking about the New Jersey debates. What is your opinion on New York City right now with their mayoral race?
I'm not surprised I was going to get that one. Zoran Mandani, a very interesting character.
Uh-huh.
He's definitely too left for my liking. Now, this is me criticizing more the left now.
Yeah.
Too left for my liking. Some of his proposals are not going to go through. I mean, if you
Yeah.
know New York politics enough, you don't need to be an expert. Just learn about how the govern. Just know the roles of each of these positions. You can easily
Mhm.
debunk some of his claims, like free buses. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be
No.
honest. It's not going to happen. You need buy-in from New York State government, and he has a slightly better chance of doing that with his current position as assembly member.
Yeah.
That's my criticism. Freezing the rents, he has a higher chance of doing that, even though it's not guaranteed because he has to elect people in that board who's going to agree with him. Or
Mhm.
some or a few, there's a chance a few might say, "Oh, I agree." By the time they get that position, they're going to vote for rent increases.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he has a better shot when it comes to freezing rents, even though some people say it's not a good idea. Me, I tend to go with small incremental increase or freeze rents at hard times like the pandemic. I think that was a good
Mhm.
idea because people were financially strained already, so that was reasonable for me. Um,
Yeah.
and I think the last mayor who did that, who froze the rent 3 times, was Mayor De Blasio. So it's doable. It's I'm not sure he's going to completely freeze it, but I think
Uh-huh.
the increase might be minor. And he's going to need buy-in for moderate Democrats too, because that's going to be his biggest battle. Not the Republicans. The Republicans are they're so small. They only got like what 5, 6 seats out
Mhm.
of 51 in city council. So he could just ignore those and just focus more to buy off the moderate Democrats. He's got to change some of their minds because someone's going to say, no, 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 no. Guy, I don't want to be labeled with communists and all that, and moderate
Yeah.
Dems are more inclined. So it's just more of an intra Democrat party politics, really, at the end of the
Mhm.
day. I don't like putting it that way, but that's what the numbers say. I mean,
Yeah.
I have voted for courtesy with the last mayoral election, even though I know he was going to lose because I knew Eric Adams was not well, they all flawed, but he has so
Yeah.
much scandals that just eked out that I could have just voted for him,
Yeah.
and and but let me get back to Zara Mandani here.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's a great. I gotta give him credit here. He's very charismatic. He's
Yeah.
very good at interviews. I gotta give him that credit. Andrew Cuomo, he sounds like he is a dinosaur of the past, tired
Yeah.
and worn out when he talks, and he does. And he does got a base, and I think he got a decent base
Mhm.
of the young, the middle class, and ironically, the young Jews, believe it or not, will support
Yeah.
him. The more I would say middle age, season. I'm trying to use or elder Jews. They're good. They're just about they lean to Cuomo or even Curtis Lewa.
Yeah.
They lean they lean to that. And I
Mhm.
talked to plenty of people who's gonna go for Mandani. Those who are more about social human rights issues, activist people, they're gonna go towards Mandani.
Yeah.
Those who are more moderate, milk toast, some will say boring corporate Democrats, they're gonna go towards some Cuomo.
Yeah.
I mean, I will agree, and sadly to say, me as an independent, I'm torn. I don't know who to vote for. Normally, I will know who to vote for by now. I don't know who I'm going to vote
Yeah.
for. Mondani, do we need change? We need change in the city. I personally believe that. But is Mondani the right change? I don't know. And in
Right.
Cuomo, if I vote for him, even though it's quote unquote safe,
Uh-huh.
but it'll be politics as usual. That's been slowly deteriorating the city. So I'm
Yeah.
torn. And Curtis Lee, well, even though I vote for him the last election, it's not pragmatic for me to vote for him. So this is where I'm
Yeah.
personally torn as an independent voter, and they need to change voter elections for independents
Yeah.
to have more open primary because New York and New Jersey got that one thing in common. I'm sure a few states do as well. That they have closed primaries. You have to be registered Democrat or Republican. You only can vote within the party for
Okay.
primaries in particular. General election, of course, that's where everybody could vote. That needs to change for sure. And I did advocate for that at the Charter Revision Committee meeting. I didn't get what I
Okay.
want, but I'm gonna plan again because in politics, this is one reason why I started.
Uh-huh.
I talked a good game. It has inspired me to try to play the game, be on the ground more, and just get involved. So I can have more things to talk about. So just look at the computer, look at the outside. I can give you some insider experience.
Yeah.
And that's what started me. But I'm going a little ahead. But New York City mayoral race and Eric Adams dropping now, it helped
Yeah.
Cuomo a little bit, just a little bit. But Zoran Mandani still has to lead. I think like from 20 points, he only has a 15-point lead.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's the only impact. I'm not surprised that impact was going to happen because they both had the similar voting base, both Cuomo and Eric Adams.
Right. Right. Yeah. I guess I don't know if I'm surprised or not that Eric Adams, I thought he'd do a little bit better because I thought that he appeared to be trying to learn from his mistakes and trying to make some changes. But do you think it was just like too late for him? Or, I don't follow it as much as I do my own state, so I was just surprised he wasn't a little bit more popular. But,
If you would have seen New York local news, you would know
uh-huh.
why.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not to bash anybody. Just for
No.
people looking outside, it could be surprising, and I will understand that. It's just there was so much scandal in his
Yeah.
administration. I mean, there was people resigning left and right, or even getting arrested. I mean,
Oh,
that's
geez.
such a bad look. I mean, you talk
Yeah.
about trying to fight corruption, yet corruption was brewing at his administration,
Yeah.
and he's supposed to have that incumbent advantage, but that disappeared. And I knew he was going to lose. I'm just surprised he didn't drop out sooner, but that's just ego. His ego was
Hmm.
huge. It took a
Yeah.
long time. I said, and I've told people, they laugh. I said, "Oh, you so mean." I said, "Well, I'm gonna say like it is." I said, "Everyone knows he don't have a shot. He's the only one that doesn't until he finally dropped out." I mean, his ego was so high, he became partially delusional.
Okay.
I thought he could have been a better mayor. He had potential to be a better mayor, but he played both sides of the aisle as well. He was,
Yeah.
he was with the Democrats on some issues, and some issues he was with the Trump administration, allowing
Hmm.
ICE to gain more access to six. So he burned both bridges essentially, and
Yeah.
that's another thing that really ruined him. I mean, sadly, if the Republican is performing better than him, that's already a sign that you need to drop because it's very
Yeah.
New York City is heavily Democratic. It's and the fact that Curtis Sewell had 14 points, or Gabs was 8, 7 or 8.
Hmm.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
And like I said, he was the only one that did not know that he needed to
Yeah.
drop. And that's the thing. Eric Adams, that's what really ruined it. The crime thing, he started getting better at that when it's too little,
Hmm.
too late. So to really answer your question, it was just
Yeah.
too little, too late. And he was to me, he was always behind the curve. The curve was always ahead of him,
Yeah.
and it's sad because to be honest, I thought he had a chance to govern better. Sadly to
Hmm.
say, but he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
finally, he dropped out, and that's a small boost to Cuomo. Let's see if Currency was going to drop out. I doubt it, but we'll
You don't
see.
think so?
That's me, but I've been wrong a couple of times in some of these
Yeah.
things. But the pressure campaign is on for him to drop out because
Right.
they try, and then if that happens, let's just say if that happens, this
Uh-huh.
will give Cuomo, to be honest, a legitimate shot to beat Zoran Mondani.
Yeah.
If Kersey stays, ironically, Zoran Mondani could just get away and win this
Yeah.
mayoral election. That's what is happening. That's the projection that's going on right now. Ever
Hmm.
since Eric Adams dropped his, despite his lead decreasing, Kelsey Market, and that's what I follow, saying that I think he went from like 75% to like over like 80, 85, 87%
Okay.
of winning. Those are the odds. Cuomo, that
Yeah.
continues to go downhill. It's like from 25 to like 12 at this point.
Yeah.
It's it's Mondani might get it, and just because he wins mayoral race, it doesn't mean he's going to be able to implement his agenda. Because
Yeah.
it's still, at the end of the day, if you look at the big picture, he still doesn't get the majority vote. But that I could be presumptuous. It could be premature. What I'm saying, because we don't know how the general election is going to turn out, and maybe that voter base he got could be flaky. I don't know, because progressive voters, based on my estimation, especially in New York City, they could be flaky voters. If they
Hmm.
hear a couple of things saying like, "Oh no, not voting, not voting, I'm going to sit out." I don't want to vote for Cuomo either. Yeah, so
Yeah.
but so far as of now, he has a grip on that voter base, and he needs that grip for him to
Yeah.
win for sure.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. I think. I think voters are. So many people are just wanting change that it's almost like it. It almost doesn't matter what the change is; they're going to flock to it. And I do think too, people forget that just because someone running for office promises something doesn't mean that they're going to be able to accomplish it. Like they can't just do what they say they're going to do. There's all sorts of steps involved blocking them along the way. And I think that people are kind of hard on those that they're trying to support, or those that they're bashing when they're like, well, they promised they're going to do this and then they didn't do it. It's like, well, did you look? Because they tried, but then they weren't able to, you know.
No, I agree with that. They get flack when they don't fulfill.
Hmm.
I mean, and people got to realize you're not going to get everything you want in politics. Rather, as a
Yeah.
progressive, conservative, or even moderate, they can't deliver because they need buy-in. And alluding to the city council example, he's going to need some buy-in among regular Democrats, and some of them are very anxious
Hmm.
of Zoran Mandani. So if he gets more of that buy-in, then he has a better chance to deliver some of those promises. But you do need buy-in from other people. It's not just, oh, I, Zoran Mandani, could sign a crap load of executive orders and get what I what I want. No, some things
Yeah.
many things have to be passed through city council. So
Hmm.
like Trump with the executive orders, which I'm against some of them, by the way. But like the president uses right executive order, executive order that,
Yeah.
and it has to be
Yeah.
for the most part in tune with the, well, in this case, the New York City Constitution and with the New
Hmm.
York State Constitution as well. So
Yeah.
just, I mean, I'm sure Mondani understands that. I just hope his voter base understands that.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So, uh, I guess you kind of answered it, but what makes you vote like both ways? Aside, you're an independent, so yeah, that kind of explains it a little bit. But how do you decide like who you're going to vote for?
Ah, good question. Only live little tidbits in there for my regular podcast listeners. Some intentional. Well, you be the judge of that. I leave that
Mhm.
with purposely ambiguous. But this is, I go by the current climate. That's one, and what
Mhm.
I think is the biggest issue. If I see crime and quality of life is a bigger issue, I will lean a little more to the right. If I
Mhm.
see that if it's income inequality is more of a big issue, which is getting increasingly worse. That's why some of my economic positions I'm shifting a little more to the left. I'll lean towards the left. I go by who's in the ballot, what is
Mhm.
going on. Because me, I don't like Democrats and Republicans. But if I'm gonna pick someone, I go by my own little tiers. I go by, okay, education. What me, I don't mind the state I'm running it, but they need to do some reforms on that.
Mhm.
And there's times I've voted Republicans based on education because school choices. Say, yep, if the school's bad, I think you should have choices. That
Yeah.
part I lean with the Republicans. So as of now, I lean with the Republicans, just to be clear, because I think
Mhm.
if the school is bad, not doing a job, then yeah, the parents should just pull their kid out and transfer them to
Yeah.
to a different school through a voucher or whatever. I support that. I think more choices the better. Generally speaking, that's my general frame. If the Democrats open more choice, I'm going to support the Democrat position,
Yeah.
even though, like abortion. Personally, I like when people perform abortion, but they are not my kid. I got to put
Right.
that in mind. It's not
Yeah.
my kid. I'm not in that situation. If they need to abort the child, I'm just like, well, because they don't got the economic means, so the fees is not viable. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, and people talk about it does take a village to raise a child. It's not
Yeah.
there. I was like, I don't agree with it, but sadly, I do understand why it
Yeah.
happens. So I have like more of a center right position, if you will. The only time I'll agree with it completely is like rape, incest. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah.
Because it's the woman that's being violent. I mean, I'm not carrying the kid, so
Right.
that's my general position of it. I don't
Hmm.
believe the kid should be aborted. U.S. population is about to be on the collapse, but in the current
Yeah.
perspective, I think the incentive should be given for bringing children into this world. I think that should be a better approach and provide more resources because that's the only reason why people are not don't want to have children.
Yeah.
It's a cost and it's a financial burden. I hate to say it hurts my heart to say, but it is for a lot of families right now.
Yeah.
So maybe we know what the Republicans of abortion, but also have some government help from the Democrats. Like sometimes I mix the two together to
Hmm.
make it work more cohesive. That's the way politics should be done. That's a good example right there. I lean in the okay, I want this Democrat here, this Republican here. Maybe make my weird vision go
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
I'm kind of masterminding in my own way. This is why I go both ways.
Hmm.
But they can't be extremists. Extremists have no shot. Um,
Yeah.
in my, I believe some MAGA politicians are extremists, and I believe some progressive voters are extremists for me.
Hmm.
So they're gonna have a much harder time by getting into my vote. Not saying it's impossible, but they're gonna
Right.
have a much harder time. Moderates, people who work with others well, people who are collaborators,
Hmm.
people like Mikey Sherrill. Those are ones I could easily vote for. But I'm not New Jersey. I'm a New York resident, so I cannot legally vote for it. If I
Right.
do, I'm committing a crime. Let's just
Yeah.
let's just put that out there.
Right.
I was giving that just because. Oh no, why you don't vote for Mikey Sherrill? New
Because I
York State
can't.
resident.
Yeah.
New York State resident. I wish I could. In the alternative timeline, I'm a New Jersey resident. Campaign for Mikey Sherrill. Okay, that's
Hmm.
not what's going
Yeah.
on. But I can't. That's illegal. All right. Unless I'm a New Jersey resident,
Hmm.
that's a whole different story. I'll lean towards Mikey Sherrill. I have voted Bloomberg, and if I was younger, I was a kid when Rudy Giuliani was mayor. All right, give my age out a little bit. I would have voted for Rudy, okay, because I
Yeah.
thought his crime policies were effective. Right?
Right.
That's all I would have voted for. But I was too young to vote at that time. It was like when Mike Bloomberg, I think, was in his second term. That's why I was old enough to vote. When
Hmm.
Obama started coming in and campaigning, that's when I was old enough to vote. So there you go.
Okay.
Give my age a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I think we're about the same age.
yeah, so okay. And there you go, the boomer millennial moment, hashtag that. No, but all of seriousness though, there was things I wish I was old enough to
Yeah.
join those events, but the law is a law, and sometimes I don't know if I can swear here in the law is I'm gonna spell out A-S and an S. Spell that together, you know what that word is.
Yep.
So that and that's just something that I was like, missed out on that one. But I would
Yeah.
have. But this one, I missed out on Mikey Sherrill because I'm not in New Jersey. So I was like,
Yeah.
I got to deal with this one here, the one I don't want to deal with. The
Yeah.
hard. This is just my personal feeling. In New Jersey, I got to the criticism I say for New York, make it inaccessible for independents of voting primary. That applies to New
Hmm.
Jersey as well because they have similar policies. So
Right.
yeah, I like it, but I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid saying, "Oh, New Jersey could never do anything wrong." No, no, no. I bash New York all the time. I love you, New York. I have tough love.
Yeah.
Um, And the reason why I said, because I had another guest, and that episode's going to be released in the future, where he talked about how AI implementation can help save costs. I said, look at that, fiscal conservatism is coming from a Democrat. I'm liking
Uh-huh.
this. I'm liking this. Ding, 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 ding. There's a soul who's willing to try new ideas instead of just drinking the blue or the red
Right.
Kool-Aid. I like
Yeah.
this. You're being a problem solver. This is why I want people, quality candidates, problem solvers, collaborators.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, but sadly, it's so tribalized. I'm tired
Mhm.
of seeing the AOCs and Marjorie Taylor Greens taking over screen time. Actually, AOC's taking a little more than that these days. Before it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. I was like, oh god, I
Yeah.
hate with
Yeah.
her again. But
Yeah.
I
It's
don't want.
just
I don't want to get too much into that. But we need more grown-ups in the room. That's my point.
yeah.
We definitely need more grown-ups in the room.
Yep.
And yeah, and this is why I've been an independent. And
Mhm.
if you don't mind, I think that was what your question why I switched to multiple parties.
Yeah.
Well, I just give extra context. When I was allowed to vote, I was a moderate Democrat.
Mhm.
Should be no surprise to some of the regular listeners out there. I was a moderate Democrat, meaning there were some things I would agree with Republicans if they pitch their messages properly. I will literally
Yeah.
give them a shot as a Democrat voter.
Yeah.
My fiscal conservatism, I always agree with the right on that one.
Yeah.
Military, I agree with the right on that one. Even though I think the military budget's overblown because of the contractors. I said the quality military could be just as good with getting rid of those contractors. That will cut the cost significantly. But that's a whole other issue for another day. But that's
Yeah.
my position. I generally lean to, the right on that. Yeah. So that right there, and I voted for Obama twice.
Mhm.
That was someone, and then this is the first time I'm revealing this, but this is gonna probably get me some flack. Yeah, I actually voted for Donald Trump in the 2016
Yeah.
election because you want to know why, and this is it. I begrudgingly have to say this.
Yeah.
He was a different idea
Yeah.
until J6. I was like,
Uh-huh. That's
I'm
what
not
turned
voting
you
for
away
him.
from Trump.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm no, 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 no. Moderate
Yeah.
Republicans, do what you need to do to sabotage him. That was just, oh god. I said,
Yeah.
learn how to take a loss gracefully. So you just
Yeah.
proved the Democrats right there that you wasn't willing to give oh god, why I can't talk. He wasn't willing to give the presidency even though you lost.
Mhm.
And I don't believe the 2020 election was stolen. He still pushes that crap, which I'm not going to buy into until he could truly prove
Actually prove
that.
it. Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I'm willing to listen to these things,
Yeah.
but you have to prove it. You can't just say just because you're feeling a certain way or you feel like you look. Democrats feel like the election is stolen for them too,
Mhm.
but I don't see them push that as much, except for I don't know, maybe more like the TikTok users. That's a whole nother story. They're a
Yeah.
little mentally ill, some of them.
Yeah.
Let me just be honest. Oh, election stolen. I need proof. Just like the same stain I gave to Donald Trump, Kamala Harris vote. She said, "Oh, Donald Trump stole the election for Kamala Harris." How? I want to know the how. The same stand I give it to
Uh-huh.
Trump. I'm applying it here. I try to be consistent with my standards, even though it's
Yeah.
easier said than done.
Yeah.
As an independent voter, I said, "No, give me proof. Give me
Yeah.
proof." And guess what? In either cases, none of them came up. So shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the election stolen.
Yeah.
With Kamala Harris, her situation was different. I blame more Biden, Obama, the Democrat machine
Yeah.
for ruining that election for her. That's why my criticism was not as harsh as her. If she would have had like regular time, if it would
Yeah.
have like the primary, then I would say, yeah, no, Kamala. I think Kamala had a shot. I mean, she got I think 227, 226 electoral college. Not bad for someone who
Okay.
has very little time.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
not
yeah.
that not that bad. So I was
Yeah.
just saying, I think 1 month maybe that would change. I don't know,
Mhm.
but yeah, the reason why I switched multiple times because I found out the Democrats are getting crazy with their woke politics and all that. That drove me away.
Yeah.
I became a registered Republican voter for 2 years, and that was the time when Trump was running.
Yeah.
And then and then even after when Trump was going crazy, I was ready to switch to independent. I was like, I don't feel, I'm not Republican on some of these issues. I mean, migrants, I
Yeah.
get it. Criminal, illegal immigrants, I agree with Republicans 100%. Have to be proven
Mhm.
to be criminals. Do whatever you need to do. Even get rid of them violently. I don't care. But a lot of migrants, they do the hard work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, and I'm about controlling the border because that border was a mess under
Mhm.
Biden. So I give Trump. I give Trump some thumbs up. I wish he could have. But the ICE raids is where I'm very critical of Trump. They've been done so. It's messy. It's violent. hyper aggressive. It's far reaching, and even some U.S. citizens got detained. I mean, they weren't locked up for
Mhm.
long, but
Right,
they
they were arrested and then released, right?
right,
Is that
yes,
once they confirmed who they were or whatever?
yeah. I and yeah, I mean, look, I look. Don't get me wrong. They did came to this country illegally, but we could also
Mhm.
fix this by I don't know making citizenship more easy and accessible. So like
Mhm.
what, like 5 years? I probably would lower that down to 3.
Yeah.
Um, and then the only thing I would agree with Republicans on the immigration thing, if they've been here for, I would say 10 years, and yeah, you haven't gotten that taken care of, then I don't feel as bad. You at least had some
Yeah.
time to start the paperwork, at least to start it, because
Yeah.
this is why they're rounding people up. Look, I'm pro migrant for the most part.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, I don't want to give them the free pass for committing crimes either. I mean, this country is found on immigrants,
Yeah.
and sadly, those who came from harsh situations, and all that, I think we could show a little humanity to those folks.
Mhm.
Instead of just locking them up, rounding them up with the criminals. I don't agree with that approach.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I you can say I'm kind of like a centrist on migration. I say, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree that criminal migrants should be locked up, detained, all that. I'm not going to be like one of those far left that all of them should come in. So no,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be like the far right either, that we become an isolationist, xenophobic country either, because we are
Mhm.
fine on migrants. We got to find a middle ground
Yeah.
that that could reduce illegal immigration crossings.
Mhm.
And I don't know what that solution is, but the more I learn about immigration, about how complicated and difficult it is, it's just we gotta do
Yeah.
something. And they did. I think they did. They no, not think they did have a plan. Think about James Langford, who's a conservative, trying to work with Democrats on that, but Trump killed that bill. That was very critical. Trump said, "Why the hell do you do that?
Uh-huh.
Why did you do that? Oh, I see. This is like this political game because you want to come in and no, and I kind of saw this one come in. But
Yeah.
it's actually a little more worse than I thought. I know it's gonna be bad, but it was actually worse than I thought. But all right, let me
Yeah.
stop yammering. I'm sure you got
No,
other
it's okay.
questions.
Well, yeah, I mean, I I think we're pretty similar as far as is how we feel on certain issues and stuff. I also voted for Obama both times. If I could have, I would have voted for, or I would have voted for Al Gore. That's so I was like 14, I think. And that's when I learned what the Electoral College was. Because I'm like, well, he got more vote. He got the popular vote, but oops. But then I switched because the fiscal stuff and all that, and then also illegal immigration. Um, I've helped people with their citizenship process. It's very difficult, especially if English is not your first language and you're in Iowa. And, down in Texas, it's a little bit easier. There's more people that speak Spanish. So I have friends who their student visa would get renewed, but not their work visa. So then they'd have to find a job to make cash under the table because not everyone has their parents pay for everything for them. So it's like, well, why aren't they just renewed at the same time? Like why does there have to be a student visa and a work visa? I think if you get a student visa, you should be issued a work visa as well. And I know, so there's just one example, which I know that the visas are just a mess. But then there's also, someone that I know that's been in the country working on a farm for decades now, who just kept renewing their work visa and somehow let it expire. That's his bad. That's on him. Now, after spending thousands of dollars to become a U.S. citizen, basically he's told you have to go back to Mexico and re-enter, and you have to stay in Mexico for such a long period of time. Well, he's been here so long that it's like, so who's he going to go to, in Mexico? Now, obviously he dropped the ball there. And he's one that's in Iowa that doesn't speak a lot of English, and that's much more difficult to get anywhere. So why were you here for 2 decades and you're not speaking fluent English, in Iowa? Again, Texas, it's fine. It's just it's like some people, they'll do everything they can and still not get it, and then others, it's like, I mean, I have a heart for people who drop the ball here or there. Obviously, you need to. It's just basically a mistake is going to get you sent back to another country you haven't been to in 20 years. Um, and that's, I mean, it's sad. It kind of breaks your heart. It's like, if I make a mistake like that, I'm not going to have that big of consequences, but I do understand that you have to understand that when you're coming here that there are some legal things that you need to complete. But I guess I'm saying all this to say that I wish that we made the citizenship process easier for people, especially if they have been working, they have been positive influences on their community. But then just letting anybody in, that's not the answer. I think the vetting process needs to be strict, but the pathway to citizenship once they're here and have been vetted needs to be easier.
You know what? That's very rational. I'm not gonna argue with that. If you're just like open border, why? I say, oh, whoa, 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 whoa! I don't want terrorists and scum coming to
Right.
this country either. But no, you're not advocating for that at all. Obviously, unless I
Hmm.
want to make clips or whatever, pretend like you are. But no,
Right.
I'm not that kind of person. I'm not
Yeah,
clout
please don't do
chasing. No,
that.
I'm kidding. Nah, I was just
I know.
no, all the seriousness. No, see, that's a very rational position. And you see, I didn't even know that part. You point out something I didn't even know that student visa renewal and workers visa renewal are separate. They can't
Hmm.
be streamlined. Can it be per person instead of per visa? That kind of process. Wow,
You
that's
know, and I don't know if it's different depending on what country you're on, because I was talking to someone about visas, and it sounds like it's not a straightforward thing on, some last for longer than others. It sounds like a very complicated issue, just the visas, aside from all the others.
yeah. No, that's something we need to streamline for sure. I'll
Hmm.
definitely push for that, especially those who are positive, making I mean productive citizens, making great impact in their community, positive impact. Yeah, no, we need to make it easier for those, and
Hmm.
those who've been doing shady business. I don't care. Toss them out.
Yeah.
Like get out. You're not needed. Yeah, we definitely need to do something. The process is broken. I mean, that's undeniable fact. It's broken, and I think, yeah, no, not I think. I'm gonna keep saying, I know we had a potential solution. So should do James Langford out of all likely people who was very strong conservative,
Hmm.
and Trump just say just kill the bill. Yeah, it was definitely politics on play because he wanted to do this craziness,
Well.
which I don't really like I said fully agree. Like I said, criminal
Mhm.
migrants. I'm with Trump 100%. People doing bad things, yeah, no
Yeah.
argument there. And people who's being violent, no argument. I'm not gonna defend those people. I'm not defending criminals.
Hmm.
I don't want to be an enabler or being an accessory to them. No, not my
Right.
style. But I think he was gonna say something.
Oh, can you tell me more about the bill that he was trying to pass? Because I'm not sure if I understand which one that one is. The Oh, you're still
Oh,
on
I
mute.
mean,
There you
professional moment right there, folks.
go.
I'm talking while I'm muted. He want, yeah, I'm forgetting. Let me look that up. Why the
Okay.
immigrant bill? Because yeah, it
Yeah.
was a big thing during 2024
Okay.
that he was pushing, and yeah, it was a bipartisan bill. It was, yeah. Oh yeah, Chris Murphy. That was
Okay.
the co-sponsor, Democrat for Connecticut, and well, this is Let me just make sure the AI is sourcing this right because that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay. This one's sourcing a lot of things. All right, this is a pretty
Mhm.
quality. This is decent quality AI. You gotta be critical of AI because you let AI lead you, you're
Yeah.
brainwashing. You might as well be brain dead. Be brain dead.
No, I
Okay, finally I found it.
did ya?
Congress.gov. Yeah, Congress.gov on Mrs. S
Not good.
1444 Border Patrol Enhancement Act.
Okay. Well, and I thought that like during Trump's first term, Melania was working on trying to make the pathway to citizenship easier, trying to do certain stuff like that. And she didn't get any attention for it, but I don't see that being something that she's working on this term. Now she's focusing more on protecting children online. stuff like
Oh yeah,
that.
her cyberbullying campaign. I
Hmm.
think. Yeah, yeah. I mean, she would have been. I would say, decent advocate for it to fix
Hmm.
bill. Even though she's not the most popular first lady, I mean, I gotta be honest. I think who set the pretty high bar was Michelle Obama.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I thought they could have had it, and that Chris Murphy, I gotta give him credit for co-sponsoring the bill because he was being a
Yeah.
mature adult there. See, that's something I need to see a little more of. Just with addition to that, to a successful bill being passed through.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have went through the House because I think the House are definitely
Hmm.
more MAGA. They would have said,
Yeah.
"Ah, no." But
Right.
hey, they could have gave it a shot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's just me. It needs to fix. If I do, but I got to give James Lanford credit
Yeah.
for
Trying.
trying to solve the
Yeah.
issue. So is it a fail? Absolutely. I'm not going to say obviously because this is why we still got this mess.
Hmm.
If it was successful, who knows? It probably would have mitigated some of the mess that immigrants have to go through. Unfortunately, I'm not
Hmm.
the best advocate for migrants. I was born here, so. But I do. But I want to point out something that you said because you're in Iowa, right?
Hmm. I lived in Texas for a while though, and then now my brother does. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm somewhat familiar with Texas, but not like I am Iowa. So
No, that's understandable.
yeah.
Yeah, Iowa. Yeah, I had a migrant who was from Vietnam. He was in
Uh-huh.
Kansas. So I don't know how you survive it because they're not gonna advocate for you, for
Yeah.
Vietnamese signs and translation services like New York. New York,
Yeah.
you can get
I
by pretty easily with just speaking Spanish, especially in
yeah.
some communities. But in Iowa, I could imagine how difficult it was, especially if he wasn't.
Yeah.
I'd say he should have. This is not me. I'm not against all migrants, but just be careful what state you in
Hmm.
because not all of them are going to accommodate with Espanol and all of that.
Yeah.
Someone's going to say you better speak English, or
Yeah.
you don't belong here. I'm not saying that it's right. Some of them can't fathom that, like states like Kansas and all that. Not say you're backwards, but yeah, definitely more generally conservative leaning compared to
Hmm.
even Texas. Texas is interesting. It's red state, but they have plenty
Yeah.
of native Spanish because I mean, there's a border there. I
Yeah.
mean, so it's much easier for them to get through. And
Yeah.
I think formerly it was considered Mexico turf, and then all the Alamo and all that crazy fighting. So that's history right there. But Iowa, yeah, Iowa, I don't know much about. Just know that the first caucuses are held there for the
Yeah.
presidential election. So you're
Yep.
special on that front. But I
Yep.
think Democrats have been getting some wins in that state.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
I mean that one's. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think abortion. I think was one of them. Like abortion rights was one. I think they
Um
got a win on partially at
they
least.
a little bit because so I caucused and then I was a delegate at the county convention. And so at those you talk about like, okay, well, what are we going to move forward with? And so I caucused for Trump, so don't hate me. But um so I at they wanted to push they wanted to be harsher on more restricting on abortion rights. And that is one of the things that I stood up and talked about was that if you guys keep getting stricter and stricter on abortion access, you're not going to win elections. And so it stinks because there's not very many people my age or younger that go to these things. So we definitely need younger populations to get more involved in politics on a local level. But that is one thing that I did fight for is for them to kind of leave abortion alone. And I think it helped a little bit. But
No, don't worry. I don't hate the vote. I just hate the man on top.
yeah.
I love punching up, punching sideways. Well, punching sideways is case by case, but punching
uh
down is something I rarely do. Punching up, I'm comfortable doing because I find I'm taking on the the worthy target. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't hate Trump voters. I criticize some of them, so she wants to
Yeah.
act loony on social media. Just
Yeah.
those, not those who got a rational mind and they mean well. I'm sure there's nice Trump supporters. Let me just
Yeah.
be clear about that. I'm not the biggest Trump hater either. There's things I
Yeah.
would support him in, like closing the border. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's good. That's
And I
generally
criticize him too. So it's,
yeah. I mean, we shouldn't be worshiping anybody like a
hmm
god. I don't care, Democrat, Republican. That's sickening to me. I said, well,
yeah.
well, you'll do well in a communist nation. You're not American for sure. You should be able to criticize your own side. I
hmm
mean, yeah, criticize opposite side is too easy. We got
Yeah.
criticize. I think people should criticize their own side, especially if you know there's something fundamentally wrong of whatever
hmm
they're pushing. Yeah, so no, yeah, I've heard about that. I was like, huh. I said, yeah, it has backfired Republicans on, especially with the abortion issue. I think
hmm
Dems, for the most part, be getting wins, and for the cool kids, W's on even some red states
Yeah.
because it's just. And I said this before. I'm not sure you'll fully agree. I think Democrats generally have better policies, but when it comes to politicians' personality, Republicans are more popular on that regard. And
Uh,
that's why Republicans get elected, even though sometimes they don't push. And I do
yeah.
emphasize sometimes, because sometimes their policies can be decent, push the best policies.
hmm
So I think that creates that conundrum, if you will, or if you want to be cynical, contradiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Democrat policies, when you put them in the ballot, they generally are more popular, based on my analysis. But when it comes to politics personalities, I think
hmm
Republicans are generally more favorable. And that's what And look, Democrats, Republicans, you can hate what I'm saying, but you can't lie that I'm onto something. Can't lie, I'm closer to the
Right.
truth.
Yeah.
So, and look, I get backlash from both sides, and I gotta say, I'm proud I still got friends on both sides of the aisle, and I
Yeah.
left and the right, and I do value that because look, like I said, some social, I mean, culturally, I think I'm generally a bit left. Like I said,
hmm
fiscal money issues, I generally right.
Right.
Military, I lean to the right. Immigration, I'll say I'm kind of like center
hmm
on that one. School
Yeah.
choice, I think I lean Republican, but there's things I lean to, like legalizing marijuana. I think I'm moving to the right. 'Cause I see how bad it was, and
Yeah.
I let peer pressure get to me, which is rare, but now I gotta admit that I let peer pressure get to me. So, oh, but you should legalize marijuana and all this. Okay, fine, fine.
Yeah.
And I was bipartisan pressure. Yeah,
hmm
but now I regret agreeing with them because look at the crazies that's going with legalizing marijuana. I should
Yeah.
stood to the right on that one. Like I should be like firm right. I think even far right, just wrestling for marijuana. But I don't know if that really helps. I just think treatment
Right.
centers and all that. But they should be roaming around the streets. I'm that part I'm adamant about.
Yeah.
Treatment, so that I support that. So maybe I lean center right, maybe if you want to consider it
Yeah.
that. But I think putting them in jail is not going to necessarily help you unless they became psychotic and they got
hmm
laced with something to start attacking people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so say I lean to left, but I regret that switch. When it comes to marriages, I really don't care who they marry.
Yeah.
I don't trans issues. I'm just look, as long as it's not harming anybody, it's the same standard I give to cis people.
hmm
Well, the sports thing, I'm gonna be on. Well, hate me if you want here. I do favor the Republican right
Yeah.
leaning concerns on that one because the
Yeah.
biology of the trans folks. So look, I'm not against them. If they discriminate them just simply because they trans
hmm
or they get killed because they're simply trans, then I'm gonna join the left on that. But that's
Right.
just wrong, and
Yeah.
this is just bullying and murdering just because of identity traits. Look at that,
Yeah.
but if it's a legitimate concern, like sports, for example, is like, I don't know. I mean, women have been injured there. I mean, you want to
Yeah.
erode women's rights, and they work so hard for it too. Not just
Yeah.
the LGBTQ plus people. We gotta respect everyone who fought for their rights. If they
Yeah.
didn't fight for their rights, then outside, shut up. You don't deserve to talk. You
It's
gotta fight for it. And
yeah.
sadly, blood will be spilled on it. That's just
hmm
the way it is. I wish there's more ideal, more humane ways to deal with it, but that's reality. It's like the Stonewall Inn, a couple of gays, trans, they got killed because they were defending their rights, standing up to society, mostly civilly, and I think their rights got to be respected. So that part of that might consider me lefty. I'm fine with it. I really don't give a rat's behind.
Uh-huh.
Healthcare, I'm definitely shifting more to the left. I think we need a much better system than we have right now. I don't
Yeah.
support, and let me just talk about Luigi Mangione. It's still such a hot thing. I don't support what he did. Period.
No, you're right.
There's certain of them that are just rationalized. I know I don't
Yeah.
support it at all. You shouldn't be murdering someone. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no debate. I don't take you seriously if you have a different opinion. I
Hmm.
would say, however, we do have a healthcare problem in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
But the fact that we don't take care of this, I'm sadly to say, more of this kind of evil killing will happen. So we need to reform healthcare, and that one I'm more
Yeah.
sympathetic towards the left on that one. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm more of a mixed bag. If you would have seen my podcast logo, that's why it's purple at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
sometimes I wobble a little bit. If I think it's going too right, I'm going to lean. I favor the left. Then if it's going too left, I favor the right. Because at the end of the day, I want balance.
Yeah.
I want some
Yeah.
balance. I want the best policies that balanced bipartisanship can deliver.
Hmm.
When we get back to that, I don't know. I hope people's tired of this hyper crazy
Yeah.
politics, and let me just do just a feel might as well shameless plug in the new paper. And the reason why I promote that because it's free,
Uh-huh.
it's factual. You're not going to get the right wing, left wing slant of the news. Okay,
Okay.
and it's free.
Yeah.
The longest read it's generally 5 minutes. But if you just want to, I don't know, if you're picky, you just want to see stocks, politics, it's going to be 1-2 minutes max.
Hmm.
It gives you bare bones facts about what's going on. It doesn't cost them a thing. It just costs some time and energy. Um, that's something factual. If you're tired of Fox News and MSNBC with their
Right.
politically biased takes,
Yeah.
that's one of your antidotes. If you just want, you don't want a bunch of blah, 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 mumble jumble that means nothing. The new facts will give you straight to the point.
Okay.
Um,
Perfect.
yeah.
So,
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about my sponsors real quick. Sometimes I need a boost before my bike ride, but pounding an energy drink or coffee beforehand just isn't an option. What I love about Quantum Energy Squares is that they're made with 10 grams of plant protein and 100 milligrams of natural caffeine, equal to an 8-ounce cup of coffee. I get the boost I need without having to drink fluids that weigh me down or cause a pit stop during my ride. They have over 2,500 reviews with customers raving about their delicious flavors like caramel almond sea salt and my favorite, dark chocolate pink Himalayan salt. My discount code gives you 25% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit quantumsquares.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Sometimes I get on a roll cleaning or gardening, and I need a boost but don't have time for a meal. Big Fork Brand's pork jerky is the perfect choice to keep my momentum, offering high-protein snacks for on-the-go energy boosts. Not only do they offer pork jerky, but they also make pork sticks, bacon sausage, bacon hot dogs, and burger and hot dog sauces. Products come in a variety of delicious flavors, including Thai green curry and maple and brown sugar for the meat options, and gangster and Chicago fire for the sauces. I personally think the original flavor of the pork jerky hits just right after tackling a big chore. It's a little salty and very flavorful. My discount code gives you 20% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit bigforkbrands.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout.
sorry, continue. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, you were talking about healthcare, and it made me think of a while back, Trump announced that he was going to reopen the mental asylums, and of course, he uses that very nice way of describing it. I'm being sarcastic there, but so, what do you think about that? Do you think that when you say, "Oh, I'm going to reopen mental asylums," that makes me think, okay, you're going to take all these people with mental health issues and throw them in a building and they're going to be mistreated like they were in the past. But do you think that that could be a positive thing where it's more so like rehabilitation facilities, mental health facilities where people are actually getting the help that they need? And then if we do that, though, we need people working in those fields that are able to do that specialized type of care.
This is one thing about the Trump language I'm going to say. It's very hyperbolic.
Hmm.
You just can't take it literally. Just like the sarcasm you provide, you take the sarcasm literally, you miss the point entirely. Trump, he uses hyperbolic language. I wish he didn't, because
Yeah.
maybe he meant that. And but the only thing I would say, be caution. Watch what he does versus what he say.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Just like all the other issues, watch what he does versus what he says. I could predict. I won't be surprised that they're gonna. If I'm gonna be honest, I think he's gonna do what you say. Your cynical thinking,
Hmm.
dump in the mental asylums, treat them like rabid animals. Because he's already doing that with migrants. I won't be surprised that same approach is going to be done with those people with mental health issues. He don't seem like a compassionate person, if I'm going to be really honest. So I won't be surprised. No, so that's why I'm really thinking. But again, I could be wrong. Watch what you already know what he
Yeah.
says. Watch what he does now.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I'm going to say. This is where the left and I argue with them for over a decade on this. Stop going by the verbal circus.
Right. Right.
Go by what he does. If
Hmm.
he's doing bad, critique, protest, do whatever. And I bump heads with the left a lot because this is what's wrong with you. You should know, like, and I'm just gonna give this silly example. When he did the AI generated photo of him being the Pope, you know he
Yeah.
was just joking. That was an obvious
Right.
joke. Was it a tasteless joke? You could debate that. But it was a joke. I said, stop paying attention to that. Pay attention to what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I was on their throats on that. So stop. See, this is why he beats you sometimes because he
Yeah.
knows what he's doing. He's doing breads and circus on ya on the internet. He's giving you
Yeah.
breadcrumbs and distracting you with the show while he's in the backstage doing something else.
Yeah.
Sometimes better or something more egregious, depending how the
Yeah.
policies affect you. So this is what Trump does, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised that some of the intelligent people on the left haven't grasped that. That's to me
I
that's
am
shocking.
I am too. I mean, I can be pretty mischievous sometimes. So when he's trolling, as long as it's not completely, sometimes he puts stuff out there that's like that was way too far and inappropriate. But if it's not, I just think it's so funny because I I don't know. I like to prank. I like to I like I don't know, I guess I like to make people squirm a little bit. So sometimes I think he's hilarious, but then other times it's like, "Oh man, you're our president. Don't be doing that stuff." And I do think he is great at distracting people. I sorry I'm keeping you, but I the shutdown, I think he actually wanted the shutdown personally.
Oh no no no. Oh no, I'm happy to be here longer if you need me. You're not keeping me down. I already blocked the space.
Yeah.
Asked for day off. Look, that's how prepared I was. Okay,
Oh wow.
that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I got a day job. I was yeah, y'all don't need me. I don't need you right now.
Yeah.
I'll come back Monday to straighten that mess. But what I'm gonna say is I see that's what drew me to Trump in 2015, 16 because
Hmm.
I like the troll. I like that fun stuff
Yeah.
that and even throwing decorum out the window. I like some of that,
Hmm.
but just like you said, there's times where that is just so inappropriate. And he's the
Hmm.
president. He's not acting like a serious leader. It becomes inappropriate or just went too far.
Mhm.
So that's something that he don't care about balancing that. He threw that thing out the window. I'm just gonna do me. That's Trump's thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna and look, he trolled. I mean, look, when there's a picture of Charles Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and he's already having Trump 2028 merch. He was obviously
Yes.
trolled. You see, that one I could
Yes.
find funny. And
Yes.
you wanted, come on, he wanted to shut down. Come on, he wanted this.
Yeah.
Republicans love it. The Republicans in general love a shutdown.
Yeah.
Me, I've lived through it. I'm like, whatever, we'll be all right. It's
Right.
gonna reopen.
Yeah. Yeah. It Gavin, so did you hear people were sending Gavin Newsom those Trump 2028 hats, and he thinks that they're being serious, that Trump is running again for the 2028 election, and he can joke about it all he wants. He's not going to. And they're obviously trolling him, and it's just triggering Gavin Newsom, and it's hilarious to me. But at the same time, it's like, I'm sorry you're panicking all the time, I guess.
No, you see, as an independent, this is why I went real hard on the left. You psychologically, you're not being brilliant. Yeah, policy
Hmm.
wise, yeah, I agree with some of y'all.
Hmm.
However, I agree. This is him trolling. Andy Ogles didn't help before when he tried to draft the bill for it, but that's just adding the extended trolling.
Yes.
And I've told many of them on the left, it's not going
No.
to happen. You need
No.
an amendment. You need three-fourths of the damn country
Yeah.
to agree. It is not
It's never
happening
gonna happen.
anytime soon. At least not anytime soon. This is just
Mm-mm.
fear mongering from the left. I'm gonna be honest. And Gavin
Yeah.
Newsom should know because he started this troll war with Trump.
Hmm.
And he did that to himself right there. I said, I don't know if I'm gonna bet who's gonna win that. I think Trump.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I stopped voting for him already, but I'm gonna be honest. I think Trump is a great troll, and
Hmm.
he understands TV and media. He came
Yeah.
from that decades of experience before he got into politics.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Gavin. So you may be charismatic. You look like you're Hollywood with the slick back hair, but I don't think I don't. I mean, he could be a decent actor. I give him that. But when
Yeah.
it comes to troll games, I think Trump's going to come out on top, and he already
Yeah.
is with a Trump 2028 thing. I said this is just trolling. This is
Yeah.
trolling. If they would put effort to the convention of states,
Uh-huh.
then I would worry.
Yeah.
I would worry. The Republicans got like what? If I'm going to be nice to them, 27 states, you need 38.
Hmm.
And some of them are real hardcore blue.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. You can throw in New York, even though it got some red spots.
Yeah.
California even had some red spots. Hawaii, Washington State, Colorado, Illinois. I
Yeah.
well, Minnesota, I think it's going to become a future swing state, but it's still
You think
blue
so?
as of now.
Yeah.
And New Mexico. Uh,
Yeah.
and well, Nevada's a swing state. It used to be blue. Um,
Mhm.
look, you're gonna need. You only could deal with 12 states rejecting it,
Yeah.
and I think there's at least about 20 of them that is hardcore blue.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. They got enough resistance with that, and they did that on
Hmm.
purpose because they'll make sure amendments that pass through are really meaningful. And then go through a super long process of that. That's why I only had 27 out of 200 over. Yeah, about 250 years this country has existed. Only
Hmm.
27 amendments. Last one was passed was 1992.
Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah.
good. So good luck with that. I was a
Right.
baby when they when they passed
Yeah.
it. So let's give some context to it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a millennial. So that's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
was a baby when they last passed an amendment. So again, left.
Hmm.
You're fine. Just be more concerned about the executive orders, the things you could do
Yeah.
immediate. The Supreme Court, I don't blame them for that because that's a
Yeah.
strong Republican victory right
Right.
there. That they could panic about because there's not much they could do with the Supreme Court. So
Hmm.
I can understand the grievances there. But the come on, stop getting upset over the Trump 2028 thing.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
troll. He's a clown. It's obvious for those of you who know about how procedures
Hmm.
work. About if you have some knowledge of the government, it's trolling and it's just
Yeah.
simply trolling. And he's being a clown. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's people that don't really know how the government works, and so then they get scared with everything they hear. You know. that.
I mean, I
Um,
survived through a previous shutdown. I'm sure a lot of us have. So
yeah,
I think we'll be all right. Is
yeah,
it ideal? Of course not, but we'll be all right. I'm sorry.
right. No, no, you're fine. I thought I had another question for you. Um, this one's random. So I want your 2026 predictions, but I was wondering what brought you to start podcasting.
Well, I since we've been speaking for a while, I don't mind repeating this. I just think more of independent, rational voices just need to be heard because it's not
Yeah,
being heard enough.
yeah.
That's one thing, and I didn't think my voice was important, and I treated and just be very brief my podcast origin story. I did that
Hmm.
as an experiment. First two seasons were experimental because I was just, oh, well, let's see how much listeners I'm going to get. I was
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised. I was actually getting some listeners from more global than I thought. America, I'm not surprised that was the majority, but I was getting some from India. Well, and of course, the over the seas
Yeah.
counterparts, the British. Few for France. I was surprised by that one.
Yeah.
A few for Germany. One from and well, yeah, India was actually a big surprise. That was like the second largest. I was like,
Huh.
oh. I
Yeah.
said, well, they don't know what I look like. It was all audio at that time, so it can't be the looks.
Right.
Starting season 4, I started doing video.
Uh-huh.
Actually, not season 4. Season 5 started doing video, and then you see how I look. I was like, oh well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe he don't look like the whitest thing in the world. So I can't use that as an excuse. So just to wear my little identity politics disposable hat for a second.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and this is why I started because I just had enough, and it was COVID when it started. January 2020. Yeah, when the
Yeah.
thing was gonna happen, I said, you know what? And I started having some free time because before I was just hustle bustle. It was like a
Hmm.
normal New Yorker, hop, run, jump, skip before I could breathe and think properly.
Yeah.
Like that's how fast it was going. But by the time I had this little slowdown, I was like, wait, man, what I want to do? I want to do something I enjoy more. And people say I was antisocial and shy. I just learned that
Really.
a lot of it's just a lot of conversation I've heard I didn't give a rat's behind about. It was so
Uh-huh.
fluff, so little. I said no, I like talking to people. I just like talking to people who are empowering, even challenge me a bit, or
Hmm.
that inspire me. I need to gain something from it. Like it could be entertainment, it could be me learning something instead of just all these low IQ and dumb and fluff conversations I was dealing with. That was my realization. So no,
Yeah.
I'm not as introverted. I mean, if I would do the test,
Yeah.
I'm barely introvert, like barely.
Yeah.
But I do have extrovert qualities. And obviously you
Hmm.
do got some extrovert qualities. So yeah, I do because when I was a kid, I was definitely extroverted.
Yeah.
And maybe I just learned how to mask that, when I went through difficulties and going through my teenage years, darkest years of my life.
Hmm.
But the podcast just made me realize I'm not shy or as
Yeah.
introverted as I thought. I don't mind talking to people. And look, I get mean comments. I laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. It's oh wow. So
Yeah.
this is so podcast has really shaped me just to be more upspoken, question
Hmm.
things, and add my little goofiness into it, or
Yeah.
hyperbolics, just for example, or anything like that, because I want to make it fun too. Because
Hmm.
politics in general, even sometimes tech conversations can be a bit dull.
Right.
So I try to add some current events to it, and one example was about I'm not sure you heard about this app on T. It was this app for women to rate men and all that, especially rate
Oh,
men. Yeah, and
okay.
they got hacked by some angry man from Reddit or something. That's what
Uh-huh.
they've been accused of. I don't know if that's true, but one male hacker was not happy about that. Oh, it's only for
Hmm.
women. I'm gonna hack and expose them, and
Yeah.
that's what happened. I said, look, me as a man, I said, look, I am not against it. Let them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But a few men were against it. I was like,
Yeah.
really? I was like, oh,
That's funny.
you just prove these ladies right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I'll have
just
to
yeah, cool.
I'll have to check out some of your tech episodes because I'm not good with technology, and I find myself spacing out anytime someone starts talking about it. But if you're making it funny and entertaining, that would probably be beneficial for me to learn to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, no, and yeah, and well, that's the thing. I ain't gonna lie. I think like last season, I don't think the entertainment value wasn't as up there, but this current season, I'm definitely up in entertainment value on
Hmm.
the tech. So that was a recent episode I have with cybersecurity. I had to bring up
Okay.
that T story. So wow, well, this one
Yeah.
needed cybersecurity because they got hacked by some one angry man who didn't
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
but I just said, oh, it's so unfortunate. I vet tech people more. 'Cause I think the last season it wasn't as high value, but it was
Hmm.
informative. I started doing it probably later on, especially with the one with the PowerPoint. So look, a boring PowerPoint is going to put me to sleep. So
Yeah.
how can you elevate designs? And I start adding more real life examples into it just to make the
Yeah.
subject more lively. And sometimes my snobbiness doesn't make it more lively to it because I've been to PowerPoint presentations. A lot of them are boring.
Yeah.
So what can you do just to make it at least stimulating, entertaining? And
Uh-huh.
and she was such a good guest. Like Emily Schneider, very good.
Okay.
She was phenomenal. One of the
Yeah.
best tech guests, and look, it's a proof that look, women and minorities can do tech too. It's not always some nerdy, boring white guy, speaking like an iRobot,
Yeah.
things like that. And I'm gonna have more guests that are challenging that. So I've been more tough on the tech gas standards. That's more
Hmm.
for the future as well because I just want to hear about AI great, AI boring. That's already last
Yeah.
season. I'm done with that. I'm done with that era. That's done. I just
Yeah.
want something that people could relate to. And I'm a consumer. I'll say
Hmm.
I'm an informed consumer, not an expert, but I say, look, what about this? And how about how AI is doing it? And I'll say this current season has much more entertaining, interesting guests. At least this current
Okay.
season I'm doing, but the last one, I I started implementing that on the end. I listened to songs. It was informative. I said no. Now I can add in more entertainment value to it while keeping it
Yeah.
informative. I found a way. I was trying to elevate that because I realized that was like the least watched type episode of my podcast attack.
Okay.
So that's just
Yeah.
you pick whatever is good for you. I don't expect you to listen to all of them. I'm just gonna be honest, but there's a lot in there. And
Yeah.
then yeah, I mean, because and I make it connected to jobs and current events for
Yeah.
for the most part,
Nice.
because if you don't do that, then it's just why the heck should I listen to it?
Yeah.
There's no point, right? So I would say definitely my politics spirituality has a decent traction, but tech was
Yeah.
the one that was getting the least amount
Okay.
because of that. I wasn't connecting the current events to I did put as much same value. I don't know because
Hmm.
I didn't want it to detract the value of it, but I'll just do it anyways, and I think that's been picking up a bit
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Nice.
So
It's interesting to learn as you start podcasting. I really wish I would have started in 2020, but I don't know if I was like brave enough to, I guess. So I have people from Russia listening to me, which is weird, I guess, but they're also following also like the second most country, I guess, that follows me on like Instagram of my personal Instagram, which is just cats, is Russia too. So it was interesting to hear the people that are following you. Like I had a Jamaica follower pop up. I'm like, what am I giving you that you're enjoying? I mean, I'm happy that people are listening, but I've noticed for me, yeah, I kind of pay attention to which episodes are doing the best. We started like a political crime one, and so we obviously did like a Charlie Kirk one episode, and that one just blew all the other episodes out of the water on YouTube. But on other platforms, it's up in like number 4 for most listened to episodes. Um, so it's like, okay, I guess you kind of want to go to follow what your viewers are wanting to do. And then I don't know if it's like some of these interviews with you, I can talk relaxed and I'm not stumbling around my words or anything, but I was a bartender through college, so I'm used to kind of just talking to people however I want to. And then when I get into an interview with someone who's serious and stoic and so professional, I sound like the biggest idiot because I'm trying to make myself sound more professional. Whereas if I would just stop trying, I sound so much better. Do you ever run into issues like that?
That's such a great question, and I'm gonna flag. I'm gonna call this podcaster out. I got that similar experience, but but for me personally, I just say I'm gonna do it. I'd rather be authentically me. This is like I don't give a f moment really. If you
Uh-huh.
don't like me, I just don't come back, and then that's it. We
Yeah.
tried it, it failed. Oh, we let it is what it is.
Hmm.
Just accept the facts. That's just me. As someone who sounded, I mean, sandpaper is more interesting than this person.
Oh,
But I still talked about what what I wanted to push anyways, and I gave him a warning. I said, "Look, I never wrote a book before. You still want me as a guest? You came to me. I didn't come to you.
hmm.
Let's just be clear about that." Because I was never going to go to this podcast. And well, I
Yeah.
haven't written a book yet, so I'm not gonna. If I know I don't fit the criteria, I'm just gonna skip. And
Yeah.
he came to me. He said, "Oh, I like your take on podcasting and all that. I still want you on, even though you haven't written a book." I said, "Well, I'm going to promote a book that I think people should read, and I push this. 99 Ways to Think Clearly. Good
Okay.
book by the way, by Ralph Bernelli.
Okay.
I would definitely give you. You know what? Let me get that Amazon link right now. I think people need to read this because it
Okay.
really challenges a lot of not just it's not just for politics. This could be for like really any subject. It's just like
Yeah.
the fundamentals or even intermediate and advanced stuff of thinking critically and clearly.
Hmm.
I think this is definitely a good book for people that that are pretty blind. Yeah, he's a Swiss author. Yeah, that's nice. The art of thinking clearly. There you go.
Okay.
Why did I forget the title? Oh well. But I'm gonna give you the link right about now because I'm not gonna get any benefit from it. I will tell you it's a very good book to
Yeah.
read, and I try to apply this book, especially to politics, because if you don't, I think this is why that I personally am not as overwhelmed as I should be.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, there we go. Got it.
it's a pretty it's a pretty cheap book. It's you should be paying really no more than I think $15 after tax.
Oh, nice.
It's a
Yeah.
very it's a cheap book. It's yeah, it's such a good book, and I think I applied some of that thinking when it comes to. I would say do one at a time, because
Hmm.
it's really 99 ways of thinking more clearly, and and it addresses a lot
Yeah.
of biases that
Okay.
would definitely apply to politics or even
Hmm.
science or anything really. I think this helped shape some of my thinking, and
Yeah.
if I'm not doing well, I go back to this book saying, okay, why do I feel like I've been like a heated idiot, just defending myself, taking
Yeah.
it personal. So, oh, I was doing
Yeah.
this bias, and this bias. Yeah, it's such a good book.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a recommend. It's not a big book either. It's not really big.
Okay.
Each chapter is just really like 3-4 pages. It's 99
Oh,
chapters,
wow. Okay.
but yes, it's
Yeah.
all short. And if you know certain biases, well, you can skip those chapters. They're not. There's
Hmm.
no sequential order. So if you just think, oh, I got a problem with this bias, or I don't know much about this bias, you could just skip.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
designed that way. It's not one of those that you got to read 1 to 99. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I'll
just
definitely check that out.
yeah, that's something I would definitely recommend. And I normally push ground news, but I'm not doing that until I get a link, a referred link to that because I pushed them for free already a few times.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah.
yeah. But people could definitely check that out. I think that's the last free. If you want to consider this a pitiful free promo of
Uh-huh.
ground news,
Yeah.
because yeah, I just think that's a source I use if I don't have time to. Because before I had to read like 20 articles, okay, this is the left, this is the right, this is the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets exhausting, but
Yeah.
at least consolidates them. So, you have the right wing version of it, a left wing version of it,
Hmm.
and a center version of that. And that's like the Charlie Cook shooting. How the left put it? Oh, a far right activist is killed.
Hmm.
Right wing version. Oh, our beloved ally was murdered by some psychopath, by a left wing psychopath.
Hmm.
And then the censored version is Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah
Yeah.
by this person. Yeah, just say Charlie Kirk was assassinated. That's as plain as censor as it could get.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think those I generally push for those, but now until I become be more significant to get my own link, and that's why I'm pushing the new paper.
Yeah.
And other than that, I like to do this, and I'm finding free ways to even help me, because I know
Yeah.
it's tough for some people out there. So I completely
Yeah.
get that. Don't worry, I'm not like certain YouTube stars. I call you peasants for not wanting to donate, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
give, and I'm not gonna say his name because he's already famous enough.
Yeah.
But you know who he is. If this is a situation I rarely use, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
I,
I'm
and
thinking of one person, but it might not be the same person. But yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not the only one.
Yeah.
But this one I know because he does drama farming. That's another hint I'm going to give.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I sadly I get a guilty pleasure watching, especially when I was bored. Like, oh, I could feel better about my life watching these losers doing drama and all that. But hey,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
see this is now I'm diving into my dark side a little bit. All right, you got a little preview.
I
Hey,
like
look,
it.
yeah, and I don't know if I'm gonna do a second podcast. If I don't know, I'm thinking about it's good. Definitely drive. I got to just up the darkness like probably to 20 or something like that. And
Yeah.
I got some good names, but I'm not gonna reveal it because I'm pretty sure someone's going to take it.
Oh,
And if you're gonna take it, I better be your co-host at least. That's most
yeah.
compromise. I better be the co-host because that was my title. Okay, just
Yeah.
my title, and I'll be a complete a-hole. I'm gonna either act far left or far right. And I know that's dangerous and villainous and disgusting position, depending what it is. So look, I
Yeah.
maybe that's in the future if I start joining interesting panels. I've been
Yeah.
invited to some panels, but some like me, some are not big fans of me. I don't. I just go by. Look, just be my real self. You get the right people.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's the general approach because I do get it. There was some that was just so serious and so stoic, and to be frank, boring too. That is just oh my god. Can I
Yeah.
get to this person? Am I talking to a person or I'm talking to a soulless AI?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh god, I'm not gonna bend over backwards to please a person. That's just not me. I tried it before. It's only short term success, and you feel disgusting about yourself. So
Hmm.
I try not to do that ever again. So, all right,
Yeah.
I think I drove this podcast off the rails a little bit. Anything political or anything else you want to talk about?
All right. Give me your quick 2026 predictions. We've already talked
Oh,
about New Jersey and the New York City mayoral race. In general, how do you think? Is it going to be a red wave or a blue wave?
Uh, I think, to be honest, I used to be confident, and I was going to say my old prediction. My old prediction was Republicans keep Senate, Dems take the House. It's going to be like
Hmm.
what happened with
Okay.
2020 midterms.
Hmm.
It's going to be either a small red. It was a red drip, not even a wave. It was like a
Yeah.
little leakage of
Yeah.
they underperformed there. I would say this. I think with this gerrymandering thing, I think you can flip
Hmm.
the game, unfortunately, because red states are going to gerrymandering. You already know. I'm sure you worry about Texas. That
Yep.
based on their hypothetical estimations, they can easily take 5 more seats now.
Hmm.
California is countering with their version of it by putting it on the ballot. I would say that's morally superior. But the outcome is you only they hypothetically speaking they can only flip 4 more seats in California to
Hmm.
turn blue. And I think more red states are going to gerrymander to the point that they could keep the House, or they might even gain even more seats.
Yeah.
So I think, and if I'm going to be honest, some of you are going to be upset, and it's okay. You will live. You could hate me. I'll be fine. I dealt with opposition hatred before. It's not new to me. I would say it's going to be a little red drip, another red drip,
Okay.
because of this gerrymandering thing.
Yeah.
A disclaimer: I could be wrong. I've been
Mhm.
wrong. But the Republicans, I think their chance of keeping the Senate, if they keep pushing high quality, progressive, and charismatic candidates,
Mm-hmm.
they could they could potentially flip the Senate. That'll be a major upset because
Yeah.
there's only a few Republicans that are vulnerable. There's like three of them that are vulnerable. Even though you make it a tie, well, Trump is still there, so that's still the executive. The not the
Mm-hmm.
executive, the Republicans winning even the Senate because remember the vice president breaks a tie and that's a Republican right now. So even
Yeah.
ends up being 50-50. That's not good enough. You need 51-49.
Right.
Tie is not going to do it for you, Democrats. And for the House, yeah, you may need to flip few, but with this gerrymandering tactic, let's see, Democrats, you're going to have to be charismatic, creative, and make sure you send your best candidate. This is not a time
Mm-hmm.
to fool around. You're
Yeah.
going to have to double down on something. You need to make a decision instead of just talking both sides out of your mouth. So if
Yeah.
you could do that, it could be an upset. I still think it's going to be a red drip now.
Yeah.
And I'm changing my old prediction for Democrats taking over the House,
Yeah.
and because the Dems, I don't know what's going on with you. You're like it's like you are a three-headed dog was going three separate directions.
Yeah.
One wants to go straight, one wants to go left, one wants to go right. There's
Yeah.
the do nothings. There are the progressives, and there's those that are trying to push a new charismatic. There's those that's trying to compromise the Republicans. So the Democrats are all over the
Mm-hmm.
place, and if they don't get
Yeah.
their act together, um, I don't know. And back to forget about New York City. It's an outlier. I'm not going to use that as
Uh-huh.
a predictor. I would say New Jersey's governor's race is more of an interesting indicator because
Yeah.
it's a light blue state.
Yeah.
And if Jack Chiller really somehow wins, even though polls are saying he's behind, hey, I would say on average, Mikey Sherrill's head by 5 points overall if you do all the aggregate math.
Okay.
However, if Jack Chiller really wins, maybe I could be a predictor or I could be an outlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use these elections as a predictor. I go by what's going on politically, policy wise, what they're doing, and
Yeah.
I'm weirded out. I don't like this Republican tactic of gerrymandering because you're just saying you know you're going to lose in this current trajectory. And you decided to do this, and I
Yeah.
always tell Democrats, gerrymandering is Republican strength, and this is why they're able to maintain power. Well, their voter base has increased, but I don't know how long that's going
Mm-hmm.
to be because I think
Right.
some Democrats turn Republican based on this, and Democrats are still at a very low approval rating. So
Yeah.
you know what? If you want my brutal honesty, I have no idea for once. I would say, Dems got Senate, Republicans got the House. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. All this crazy is going on. I generally don't know, but I'm gonna go out of a limb to say I think it's gonna be a red trip. Not a
Yeah.
wave. I disagree with that. Probably a little red leakage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. Yeah. All right. Let me stop murmuring. Yeah, that's my
That's
real
all right.
prediction.
All right. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. It's still got a little ways until election day, and I think I kind of agree. I don't think it's going to be the wave that I'm sure they're going to say that it's going to be a red wave coming, but I don't think it's going to be as much as they think it's going to be. But yeah, if you do start that other podcast, let me know. I want to hear what you end up doing with it.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna be more entertainment based, more than just
Yeah.
talking about. Because this one is more my how can I say this? This is just more my balanced side. I don't know if people want to hear the angelic version of me. That's not going to be entertaining. It's like, oh, this guy's on goody two shoes. He's on drugs. But the dark side version, I'm sure is going to get some attention ratings. Oh,
Hmm.
did he just say that?
Yeah.
Is he crazy? Is what I want to hear? Nah, I don't know. I don't. I gotta think about that one, and
Yeah.
I would like to have two co-hosts who are more or dedicated to it. They don't have to attend
Hmm.
all the time. At least be dedicated to it
Yeah.
because it's going to be. I'll say at least at minimum a group of three.
Yeah.
I don't I don't have like a preference as long as they don't mind being villains.
Yeah.
And say crazy stuff or even be villains go against each other too. They're
Hmm.
not united all the time. So that's interesting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'll just be me on my dark side. Maybe I have to put a paywall too, so I'll go really extra crazy. Because I know how YouTube is. YouTube's just gonna cancel it. Unless I'm
Yeah.
YouTube is crazy. YouTube is really anti freedom of speech. I'll say Rumble's
Mhm.
more pro freedom of speech. That's why I got two of them.
Yeah.
I'm on Rumble. Even though I'm not the most right leaning person in there. I'm definitely not. Oh, if anything, I'm seeing like the left compared to them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm on. Let me see my social media as well. Don't bother follow me on Twitter. I refuse to call it what Elon Musk want me to call it. I'm that petty. Because I'm gonna take that one down, and maybe I'll try Blue
Mhm.
Sky. Because
Okay.
and let's see if Blue Sky's as woke as toxic as Republicans are, or maybe I'll find better fitting there. Because Twitter, I'm not finding good fitting. It's turned to a wasteland, in my opinion. Especially if I want to get decent people on. I was like,
Yeah.
Facebook's okay. I'm sticking to that one, and then I would definitely expand with Instagram for sure. I definitely got to put my Instagram
Oh.
there. People's recommend
Yeah.
me to use Instagram, so it's gonna be there in the future, and
Yeah.
and I see a new feature, so yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see it growing there for sure. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now,
Okay.
people, check out this lovely podcast here, Shade of J. Come on, people, just
Yes.
especially when I
Thanks.
share it, my fellow listeners, give her a listen. Give her a listen. And my goal, my side goal, I call it a side goal, is definitely bring up more women, or what minority is black,
Mhm.
Indian, Latino, Asian, break down the Indian, Chinese, whatever, all the other ethnic
Yeah.
groups I didn't mention. And that's been my goal. I think I'm succeeding more on the woman part, but the minority part, I definitely gotta step that up a bit.
Yeah.
Just do outreach on that. And trust me, it's not about bringing more Democrats, because some blacks I've talked to are Republican. I got
Yeah.
Republicans in there. I mean,
Yep.
Philip Black. Yeah. I got several of them that are Republicans. So
Yep.
check. And I'm not gonna plug those, but for the regular listeners, you know who they are. So
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, yes, I hope that everyone checks your podcast out as well, Politically High Tech, and I will have all the links in the show notes. And thank you for being on. And if there's ever any time you want to come back, let me know.
no. I mean, I would love to come back. I just hope I have to call any names out there, but there's been podcasts that said they want me to return, and all of a sudden they act like they call amnesia and don't even know who I am, and I don't play that kind of game. So you want to do it, then that's it. I
No.
burn that bridge. I burn that bridge right away. I've done it with a couple of podcasters already.
Yeah.
That yo, I don't know what happened. No, you can act dumb with me. I'm a New Yorker. I don't got time for that. I move. It's fast paced. I got a very fast paced mind. You're gonna give me nonsense and
Yeah.
wishy washy answers. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to sound like this meme star who used to be relevant a long time ago. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't no
So let's
yeah.
so oh yeah, you know who she is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
So
I do.
just no, I don't. And it has happened several times. So
Hmm.
I would like to come back, and
Yeah.
I actually want to even invite you to my podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heck yeah. I'd
yeah,
be on.
like, oh yeah,
So, all
and
right.
I even yeah, so
I
yeah, let me
promise
do
I'll keep
that.
in touch because
Yeah.
I'm trying to I'm keeping track of who I get along with well while we're doing the interviews, and it's like I'm kind of keeping a note of like, all right, well, if I don't have anything going on this week, I'm going to reach out to this person, and yeah. So definitely anytime, get a hold of me. We'll figure it out.
No, yeah, for sure. No, I don't get that pressure from you, but there was a couple of them that I gotta call them out, and listen, I know who you are, but if you start talking crap on the post, I will say your name and all of that, and I will do that. I'm not afraid of conflict. I really am not.
I'm going to make
But
this
I
a
don't.
clip.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I don't care. There you go. That's my little villainous side popping up. Maybe that's illusion. It's gonna be my dark side. That's gonna be this could be probably a tease for another podcast. But I just want to, I don't know, drama farm and just be controversial and troll and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, but
Sounds good.
just don't be respectful of people. This is not just from hosts, even from guests too, because some of you have played games like a child, and I said, if you say something nasty about me, if I find out about it, I'm petty. I will throw your name and all that, and I'm just gonna just say, look, the person A is such a piece of bleep because blah blah blah, and I got proof too. So I
Yeah.
keep documents, people. I'm not the one to mess with. I'm a kind person, but I also got a militant dark side as well.
Yes.
I'm not, you know, I got a Bible in one hand and I got a gun in another. So there you go. No, well, actually, that's a little too right wing, but you get the point.
No, I like it.
So, all
Sounds good.
right,
All right. Well, yeah, I will let you go for now, but I will talk to you soon.
all right. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you again for being on the show. All right. Bye.
Bye.